What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in. And I am coming to you guys with a heart that is very heavy. I lost a very true and close friend of mine yesterday before the kickoff of the Bills and Bengals contest yesterday. And I'm going to try to power and muscle myself through these power rankings today. I know it's an extremely hard situation for me. Prayers go out to her family and her sons. It's very tough in her situation. Follow me on social media. As I made a post about it. It's going to be tough for me to get through this, but I know creating content is one way for me to really get through something like this. So I just want to give my thoughts and prayers to her family, and I love you and I will miss you. And before that, I also want to talk about the Damar Hamlin situation, one of the scariest situations that I've ever seen watching and playing football in my entire life. It just really sucks to see something like that happen on a football field, and it really lets the dark side of football really be exposed to light of what could potentially happen. And my thoughts and my prayers go out to Damar for a full recovery. I'm praying that he really gets through this. I'm praying for his family. I'm praying for both the Bills and the Bengals to see that on a football field. And all the football community, my thoughts and prayers are going out with y'all, and I will be thinking about it and praying as well. But nonetheless, I am going to get through, and I'm going to try to muster through these power ranking videos. We're heading into week 18, which still seems kind of weird to say, 18 weeks of football. But nonetheless, before I get into that, make sure you guys leave this video a like. It continues to help this channel to grow, and it beats the algorithm. And if you're one of the people that are watching this that are not sub, make sure you click the subscribe button and notification bell so you will not miss any of the videos that I post. But I'm going to try to muster through this. Without further ado, let's dive into it. I'm going to put the Bengals, and I am going to put the Buffalo Bills in the next tier. I do believe in both of those football teams. And like I said, my thoughts and prayers go out to Damar Hamlin. And this was a game that I was really looking forward to watching. And it was between two very contending teams in the AFC, two very high football teams. I'm going to put them at an S. I'm not going to speak too much about what they could have been. My thoughts and my prayers should just continuously go out to Damar Hamlin. The Arizona Cardinals, I'm going to put them at a D. The injury bug hit them. Kyler Murray being out for the year. I was not a big believer in this team, so I'm going to put them in a D. Next, the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to put them at a C for the moment. I was one that thought this team was not going to be a very good football team heading into the year, but they surprised me, and they kept themselves in contention as long as they could before making a quarterback change from Mariota to Ritter. Next is the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to drop them to a B, mainly because the play without Lamar Jackson has really slipped a little bit. I think Lamar Jackson making a lineup, they possibly could have won that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, look, Hundley, he's very similar to Lamar. I just think Lamar is a different element. That defense is still a very good defense in my opinion. It was just the offense couldn't put up enough points, and they couldn't do enough, I think, to get over that Steelers team. Next is the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to leave them at a C. Despite them losing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and ultimately losing out on the division, Steve Wilks had this football team playing some really good football down the stretch. Even though the record, he was 5-6, but it was a different type of Panthers team when he eventually took over after the firing Matt Rule. So I'm going to put him at a C. Next is my Bears. I'm going to drop them to, leave them at a D. This team didn't have any fight against Detroit, and Detroit absolutely demolished the Bears. It's just after those first two drives, this team could do anything. Defensively or offensively, wasn't there. Next is the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to put them at a C. Despite the loss to the Saints, I just think if they would have had a guy like Deshaun Watson most of the year, I think they would have been a much different football team. Even though their defense underwhelmed, in my opinion, I'm still going to leave them at a C. Next is the Cowboys. I'm going to put the Cowboys at an S tier. I still believe that this Cowboys team is one of the better teams in the NFC and probably in the NFL. That defense is creating a lot of turnovers. Offensively, they can get the running game going. So I'm going to put them at the S. Next is the Denver Broncos, the D tier. They kept it close with Kansas City, but unfortunately, they were not able to pull this game out. And shout out to you, Jennifer. You were a huge Denver Broncos fan, and I'm definitely going to miss you so much. Whew, this is tough. Next is the Detroit Lions. Going to put the Lions at a B tier. This team offensively can score some points. Aiden Hutchinson in Houston, the pass rushing duo, the rookie pass rushing duo, really showed themselves against the Bears. And offensively, the running game with Swift and Williams really played well. And Jared Goff hasn't turned the football over in 8 games. So I'm going to put the Lions at a B, and I'm also going to put the Green Bay Packers at a B as well. The domination that they had with the Minnesota Vikings was something that I personally did not see coming. This Packers team is starting to get the ball rolling down the stretch, and they're a team that was out of the playoff picture to 1 win away from being a playoff team. So I'm going to put them at a B. Next, the Texans. The worst team in football. Worst team in football. What do I have to say? I'm going to put the Colts there at a D as well. The Colts, ever since the Jeff Saturday win over the Raiders, this team has just been on a free fall, to say the least, and getting blown out by the Giants. This team is not good. The Jaguars, they have been rolling hot lately. Trevor Lawrence has been playing some very good football. That defense has been playing a lot better. So I'm going to put the Jaguars at a B, and they are 1 win away from actually winning the AFC South. And who would have thought that with this Jaguars team heading into the year? Next is the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to put them at an S tier. Still one of the hotter teams in football. That defense is still something that I personally have a question about. But for the moment, I'm going to put them at an S. Next is the Chargers, A tier. This team is really starting to get hot lately, and they're getting their guys back healthy. They could be a very dangerous team to see in a playoff, so I'm going to put them at an A. Next is the Los Angeles Rams. Baker Mayfield did make a bit of a difference with this football team, bringing him in. I was one that thought that this season wasn't going to be saved, and it actually wasn't saved. But amongst the injuries, this Rams team has played a lot better with Baker Mayfield under center. Next is the Raiders. They gave the 49ers a run for their money. I still don't believe the benching of Derek Carr was the right move, to be honest with you, but I am still going to leave them at a D. Next is the Miami Dolphins. I'm dropping them to a B. This team is playing themselves out of the playoffs. And the concussion to Tua and possible injury to Teddy Bridgewater, this team could be possibly playing themselves out of the playoffs versus a team at midway point was on the top of that AFC East division. So I'm going to put them at a B. Next is Minnesota. I'm dropping Minnesota to an A with that contest against Green Bay. They just laid a complete egg. They laid a complete egg against this football team, and you could have possibly knocked Green Bay out of the playoffs if you would have picked up that win. So I'm going to drop them to an A. Next is the New England Patriots. They have a chance to get themselves in the playoffs despite the up and down season that this team has been having on both sides of the football. Mac Jones has been up and down, but they're still fighting for their contention, so I'm going to put them at an A tier. Next is the New Orleans Saints, putting them at a C. I think this team is a quarterback away from really doing something special. That defense it hasn't been healthy all season, but they did pull off a very good win against a very good Philadelphia Eagles team, minus Jalen Hurts, of course, but they were able to pull out that win. Next is the Giants. I'm going to put the Giants at a B. This team is finally a playoff football team. Daniel Jones got this team to the playoffs. Saquon Barkley has been a special player, and Kayvon Thibodeau has been a monster late down the stretch. So I'm going to put the Giants at a B for the moment, and I'm going to put the Jets at a C. This football team it's almost spiraled downward. The quarterback play has been iffy, whether it's Wilson, whether it has been Flacco, Strebler, whether it has been a guy like Mike White. It just hasn't been there for this football team. It's been very inconsistent. And I think this team was probably a consistent quarterback away from being themselves in the playoffs. So I'm going to put them at a C. Next is the Eagles. 2 straight losses, but I'm going to leave them at an A for the moment. We can tell that this team looks a lot different without Jalen Hurts. They were in a competitive contest in both games against Cowboys and against the Saints. I just think if they would have Jalen Hurts, they probably win one of those 2 football games. Next is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's really been hot lately. I'm going to put them at a B. They have a shot at the playoffs, and they have a shot at keeping Mike Tomlin's losing season streak alive. And nobody would have thought this team would have been like that, especially the way they performed earlier in the season. So I give Mike Tomlin his due. I give Mike Tomlin his credit. He has this team playing some really unbelievable football. That defense has been great the last couple of weeks. Next, the Seattle Seahawks, they played themselves out. Geno Smith, hobo type of quarterback, but I just don't believe that the Seattle Seahawks football team should have been where they've been, and I'm going to give them praise because we thought this team probably could have been one of the worst teams in football, but they are not, and they played themselves as one of the best. Not one of the best, but a mid-level team, and nobody would have thought that coming into the year. But their defense, San Francisco, I think the hottest team in the NFL. I'm going to put them at an S tier. They have been playing some unbelievable football. Brock Purdy has been steadying that ship, and that defense has been coming up with timely stops every single week. So I'm going to put their San Francisco 49ers team at an S. Next is the Buccaneers. They eventually beat the Panthers and got themselves the NFC South Division title. And Tom Brady and his team could be dangerous in the playoffs, but we will have to see. The running game has to somehow get better between now and the playoffs, though. So I'm going to put them at a B. The Titans, I'm going to drop the Titans to a C. 6 consecutive losses, they could play themselves right out of the playoffs when we thought this team had their division locked. We thought they had their division locked. So we're going to put them at a C. And the last but not least, we're going to put the Washington Commanders at a C. I think the switch from Taylor Heineke from Carson Wentz was not a good one. Carson Wentz has not been the quarterback for this team all season, and I've said it all year, not a good move for putting Carson Wentz at the quarterback position, and we've seen what happened. But these are my rankings. Make sure you guys leave this video a like as it continues to help this channel to grow and to beat the algorithm. Comment you guys' thoughts down below. And as always, make sure you click the sub button and notification bell so you do not miss any of the content that I post. But I am APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. My prayers are with Damar Hamlin. Make sure you guys stay safe. Make sure you guys tell your loved ones that you love them, because we never know what could happen. And rest in peace to Jennifer. I'm going to miss you. But I'm signing out. Make sure you guys have a great and excellent day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.